Akash Inti, the real reflection of you. You know, today, or actually it wasn't today, it was last night. Getting over a little bit of like, I guess, some type of like throat thing, you know? And there, I don't know, I don't really like taking even like, ibuprofen, Tylenol, etc. I mean, I will if I really need to, but typically I don't really like to, so. Last night I had a slight little fever, a little sweats and stuff, and one of the things that was like, that I noticed was like, I was just like, oh, this sucks, you know? It's like, it's not fun to have that, you know? But what I started thinking about, for some reason, I don't know why, I just started contemplating. I'm like, well, what would it be like if you were to die today? Like, what would you want to say to yourself? Like, what would your death be like? It got me thinking about that more and more. Like, man, like, what would my death be like? What would my death be like? Like, what's that message? This is really what it was. What's that message that if I were to die, like, this would be the video to, like, play at my funeral or something like that, right? Like, that's what I was thinking about, was like, what's that message that I would want to send to someone if I were dying? I was just messing around with one of my little brothers. I was like, these are gonna be my last words. This is the last words that I want you to remember me by, right? And just like saying stupid shit, right? Like pretending to be delirious, kind of leaving it a little bit mysterious, if you will, and like for him to try to figure it out, right? But obviously, whatever. But then it really got me thinking about like, well, what would I really want, like, my last words to be, right? And if I could really take control of that, which I can, right? This is maybe an attempt at that, I don't know. What would I want that to be like? So, I don't know, right? I don't know. Yesterday when I was like in the midst of, like I mentioned, the fever and whatnot, might have been too much water, but whatever. It seemed to be like, oh, this is exactly what it's going to be. Now today, it's like, I don't know. It's just the nature of the moment, right? But if I'm going to take a shot at it, if this was to be the video that I would have being played, I would start a little bit different. Part of me is like, oh, you should just restart this whole video right now. But then the other part of me is like, that's not real. You know, that's really not real. The message that I would leave in this video would be, I don't know. Here I am trying to think of something profound and deep. Then the other part of me is like, dude, it doesn't really matter. Feeling self-conscious. Ow. Feeling a little self-conscious right now as well. But you know, that's what I like find about these videos that are so interesting to me. Is like, to me, that's like the exploration of the self in many ways. And then other people are like, oh, well, this was a stupidly boring video. Thanks for nothing. But then I'm like, well, I'm not really doing this video for you, candidly. It's for the practice. It's for doing the video. It's for all of that. And that's really what I would say is like what it's all about, you know? Or to leave a message post-mortem, it would be to practice living every day. What does that mean, Akash Inti? What does it mean to practice living? Well, it means to literally go through them, like, live, right? The things that a person who lives does. And do them with everything, you know? It's when I'm sick that I realize how important and how much I love having my health. It's like when I don't have something that I realize the importance of having it. And so that's really what it's about here, you know? It's like it's when I am dead that I would understand how important it is to be alive. And to me, death isn't like, all right, well, this person ceases to live. Like, there's also a death of the moment, right? And by that, I mean, like, there's times where it's like, there was a certain time and there was a certain place and whatever that a moment could exist. And sometimes that moment can die, right? It could die in a second, it could die in 10 minutes, it could die in a year, it could die in 10 years, it could die in millennia, right? There's always a moment. So to me, death isn't necessarily like, all right, well, this person, spirit ceases to exist. To me, it's also like the moments that person, like everything around it ceases. Like there's a constant death every single moment, every single second, with all the time passing. And so there, it's almost a reminder of, well, death is inevitable every single moment anyway. So I don't know. That's what I got for today. Maybe a bunch of nonsense, maybe a bunch of profundity. I don't even know if that's a real word. But nonetheless, that's me. Keep up, thrive, and stay sexy.